Welcome to Rauta's Classic Reviews. This time it's a shirtless edition. Why so? I'll explain a bit. The band in question, the album in question, is this melodic death metal band Amon Amarth from Sweden with the Versus the World album, originally released 2002. Now you might have guessed why this is here for the classic of this week, and the reason is obviously this. Amon Amarth is putting out a new album in August. And even though if you're watching this a little bit later on, the album might have been already out. That is supposed to arrive here anytime soon for the review, so we'll talk about that in due time. But because this album turned 20 years this year, 2022, this is the reason I wanted to talk about this particular album. Now, personally, I've been an Amon Amarth fan since 1996 when I heard their first MCDs, Rauta the Nine Worlds, for the first time, and I was like blown away with the melodies and all that stuff. And ever since, I've been listening to the band, enjoying most of their albums quite a lot. I say most of all because recently, like the second latest album, wasn't exactly my cup of tea so much as the first few albums, but this is the time when Amon Amarth was really kicking ass and killing those giants. Now, to answer your pondering why I'm here, all shirtless and all that stuff, I kid you not, I was chopping some firewood for winter to come shirtless because it's summer in Finland. It's really sweaty time to chop some woods while blasting away this on my, headphones. So there is a reason to be naked with this one. I'm not naked, I have pants on. And it fits totally this Viking theme here. After all, these were not the guys who were totally, wearing clothes all the time. Now, my version of the album, which also featured shirtless dude here on the cover, is this 2-album version. I don't remember when or how I got this album, and that goes beyond the scope of this review anyhow. We're not talking about the bonus material here, which is also featured on the Spotify versions of this album. There are 2, at least for the time being, of this album, and they both have lots of bonus material. But I was only focusing giving this album for 2002 a couple of spins. I think I gave it like 4 more spins after the initial times when I was listening to this album for the first time years and years ago. And now we kind of wanted to go on the memory lane and do a little bit of a reminding how the band was during their early years. And it is as good as I remembered it to be. This is the MCD I was talking about, and that was my initial contact with the band back in the days. And ever since, like I said, I've been enjoying the band. And if things go as planned, I will also see this band live this year. Thumbs up and fingers crossed for the interview to happen. You never know how it goes until it actually happens, so I really don't know. But here we are, Amon Amarth, 30 years after being founded in Stockholm, the capital city of Sweden. Now, this band is curious for so many reasons. First of all, most of these guys have been in the band a rather long time. Here, if you take a look at the Metal Archive site for the band's information, you can see 3 guys still from 1992 in the band. Guitarist Olavi Mikkonen, having a Finnish name by the way, he is the main songwriter as far as I know, and he has been in the band since the beginning. Of course, Johan, Swedish people will say Johan instead of Johan. Johan Hägg has been doing the powerful vocals also for 30 years. His growly vocals are magnificent, and he doesn't do bad in other respects either. He's a powerful frontman for the band, always looking like a angry Viking, yet being a smart guy as much as I can tell based on interviews read. And then there is bass player Dede Lundström, also 30 years in the band. Now, drummer is the only new guy in the band, being there only for a few years. Only, but you get the idea, compared to the guys who were there back in the 1990s. I mean, the band has been putting out quite a few albums since those days, starting with the so magnificent one sent from the Golden Hall album in 1998. Now, Versus the World is not my favorite album of Amon Amarth, but it's still one of the definitely better ones. But then again, that might be too much to say because, like I said, I really, really enjoy most of their albums a lot, with Twilight of the Thunder God probably being my favorite one. However, Versus the World, album that came out 20 years ago, is still something that has stood the test of time. Why so? Because it features roughly 45 minutes and then some. The kind of melodic death metal Amon Amarth is mostly known for. I mean those classic melodic riffs which are so catchy and easy and nice to remember. Those powerful vocals and the kind of energetic but not too fast tempo that also defines the band. Now actually today, earlier I was reading one of the interviews by the band, now just very recently came out, where the band was basically saying, done with Johan Hegg that is, that it's so easy to just, do weaker riffs when you do faster tempo. That is something that I can totally agree with. First, for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's just kind of easier to, write easier, more simplistic, not so memorable riffs when you just keep pounding, with a tempo more than 200. That is, you just kind of keep pounding and the aggressiveness does the role for, memorable riffs. But when you kind of slow down to mid-tempo parts, that's when you really need to nail it with your riffs and melodies. And that has always been the forte for Amon Amarth, in my opinion. That and those vocals. Now, if I were to pick the, sadder sides or the least favorite parts of this album, I would say it's the drum sounds. If that doesn't tell you enough how good this album is, I don't know what will. Because when we're talking about the production value as the cheapest thing or the worst thing on an album, you pretty much know that, well, that makes the songwriting shine, really. And that is the powerful thing in Amon Amarth. Not only you have these catchy melodies, not only you have good song structures, not only you have those good growly vocals and great guitar work, but you also have the overall feeling, including the drums, what just makes this album worth listening to. Now, like I said, I gave this one a few listens to just, remind me why I did fall in love with the band for the first time initially. And it still kicks ass. I mean, those groovy melodies, the kind of a melancholy that is present, but also, shines of hope. It's like rising, against an enemy for a battle. Might take your life, might make you die in the battlefield and all that stuff. Like the Death in Fire songs pretty much states it. But at least there is this kind of honor and power and strength and, hope for the battle to be won, And that is something that, just works like a charm, for me anyway, with Amon Amarth. It's just not about catchy melodies, because world is filled with, bands doing good melodies. But Amon Amarth does it the right way. And of course it helps that I just happen to be a big fan of Viking themes. And because those Viking themes are then, brought together with these great melodies and strong vocals and good production, I mean, what could really go wrong? Now, in my opinion, all the fame and success Amon Amarth has gotten throughout the years is more than deserved. There are lots of people who kind of hate this kind of music, like, hey, it's too successful, it's too mainstream, and blah, blah, blah. Who really cares? If you really have good music and if you make your success with that stuff, I mean, what there is to bitch about. Amon Amarth is still a good band, great band. And especially the early albums are something that I hold dear to my heart. I get it, it's not for everybody, but then again, which band ever would be? Versus the World is a great album that, in my opinion, has indeed stood the test of time. I keep repeating myself because I think it's a vital point to make. It's a great album by a great band, and what can I say? You should fucking enjoy it. So give it a listen or give it not. I don't really give a damn, but I think you should. Especially if you missed it back in the days 20 years ago. So let's keep our fingers crossed and thumbs up for the interview to come up with these guys later on this year when they are playing here in Finland. And if not, well, can't stop the man for trying. This is Rauta. You take care, check out your Viking stuff, and horns up. Cheers.